Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Growth Capital Podcast. I'm your host, Justin Dixon. And today we've got the first episode in a special two-part series as we wrap up 2025. As another year closes, we wanted to take some time to look back and reflect on some of the amazing conversations that we've had this year. In this episode, we're going to look back at some of the top book recommendations and have the guests share why these books were impactful to them. And don't forget to stick around to the end where I highlight my favorite book of 2025. So let's jump in. Interested in hearing conversations with private equity leaders, CEOs of private equity-backed companies, and startup entrepreneurs where they share their stories about their career journeys, starting, investing in, and scaling successful businesses, and the important role that having the right talent plays in building a successful business, then you are in the right place. Welcome back to another episode of the Growth Capital Podcast. Here's your host, Justin Dixon. We've had a lot of great book recommendations this year, and a fun fact is we actually had a three-way tie for our top spot and a four-way tie for the second most recommended books. Let's start with the four books that tied for the second spot. Book 7.
Good to Great.
Good to Great, just a great book. Talks about level 5 leadership and what it takes to be a great leader.
Just because, kind of the principles that he lays out with getting the right people on the bus. I'm a huge people person, right? Like, foundation of every business are the people that make it up. The author's focus on that is really, it's relevant. It was relevant when he wrote it, and it's relevant today.
Book 6.
The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team.
The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team.
It's the easiest read. You could probably finish it in a couple of days. It's written like a novel, but you will, for anyone in the C-suite, you will find yourself thinking about what the problem is, the 5 dysfunctions on the team at all times. And I pitch it all the time to my team, and I look for opportunities to create healthy conflict and really focus on the customer and focus on results. And those are sort of some of those key things that the simplicity of the book just makes it a real useful product, useful thing to read and reference a lot.
Book 5.
Atomic Habits.
Atomic Habits.
It will change your life. It can change your life.
Pretty popular book, but I loved it, man. I don't pretend that I implemented all of the things from that book, but it made me see some of the things that I waste time on and maybe caring about the things that don't really matter.
Book 4.
Who Not How. If you've read any of the Dan Sullivans, I liked it more than 10x is easier than 2x. But what I loved about it is it was a good reminder that I have the tendency to be like, I need to do this and I need to figure it out. Yep. When it's actually much more time and cost effective to think about not me doing it, but who's my who that will accelerate this outcome and do something better.
And now, the moment we've all been waiting for, the books that were tied for the top spot. Book 3.
The Alchemist.
The Alchemist. I can't believe I didn't read that book until this year, and I just fell in love with it.
I actually read that book every year. Like, journeys aren't linear, and like, you shouldn't look at life that way because then you'll be disappointed and sort of just letting things come to you. The Alchemist is like a way to look differently at every part of life, whether it's life, work, relationships. And I think it's such a quick read, but it's such a unique book that just gives me, every time I read it, every year I read it, gives me a different perspective in the moment of time that I'm in, which is different every year. And I think it's just such a good reframe of mind. So not directly business related, but I think like a principle that I adapted in life of, especially somebody that's more risk averse. I'm very much like, I let things come to me and I lean into them as they come to me, and I have a trust in those things. I still obviously control certain things as well and do certain things, but I think sometimes you just need to listen and trust. And I think in times it can be hard, especially in times like right now where a lot of people are struggling. It's hard to do that. So The Alchemist grounds me.
Book 2.
Never Split the Difference.
Never Split the Difference.
Never Split the Difference. It focuses on negotiation tactics, but it's largely around being an active listener. What are the right questions? How do you influence outcomes? And when I think about what we do, specifically in my role at a private equity firm, I can't harp more again on being a great active listener. A lot of people always try to talk over each other, and that's not the best way to go about it necessarily. It's really trying to get to that heart and the root of, hey, what is that business owner looking for? Or what are they looking for in this process? Or how can we differentiate ourselves? And a lot of times that comes through active
By
listening.
Chris Voss. He is if you don't know him, he was the head hostage negotiator for the FBI, and then he wrote a book on negotiations. I think the most valuable parts of the book are not necessarily about how to be an effective negotiator, but how to just be a more effective communicator. There's a lot of aspects to what he talks about that can just help you daily.
And finally, book 1.
Crossing the Chasm.
Crossing the Chasm.
Crossing the Chasm. I've actually read the book and completely changed my business's approach to going to market based on reading that book.
Talks a little bit about what we were talking about with respect to, it specifically refers to adoption rate, but it's this idea of getting through that productivity loss and gain, that disillusionment trough.
It came up to me just being around in Capital Factory in Austin, but essentially that book is kind of explaining what needs to happen from an investor perspective for your startup to succeed. So from the startup side, it sounds like the milestones are easy. It's like, okay, get this thing, show some investors, get some people that say they want to use it, put it together, validate it. But the chasm's actually a lot bigger than that. It's like you have to create a real business. You need a business plan. You need a 3-year pro forma showing how you're actually going to go to market and launch, and then why you're the person to do it, how you have the best domain expertise to get this all done, and how you've built a team of people somehow that will do this with very little money and disrupt billion-dollar industries. I really like that one. It's got a lot of knowledge packed in there.
Before I share my favorite book of 2025, I wanted to thank all of the guests that share their book recommendations and how they've had an impact on their lives and or their businesses. Now, for the moment we've all been waiting for, my favorite book of this year has to be Buy Back Your Time by Dan Martell. This book really opened up my eyes of how I'm spending my time, both as a business owner and also in life in general. And I really liked how throughout the book, he lays out the concepts, but also provides a practical guide on how to implement them into your life. I highly recommend it to anyone, but especially entrepreneurs. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Please check out part 2 of this special series next week. See you there. I hope you found at least one actionable insight from this episode of the Growth Capital Podcast, your one-stop shop for insights from private equity leaders, CEOs, and startup entrepreneurs on starting, investing in, and scaling successful businesses, as well as the role having the right talent plays in growing a successful business. It would be greatly appreciated if you would rate and review this podcast. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe and drop us a comment so we can expand the audience of this podcast. Thank you for all your support, and don't forget about upcoming episodes dropping every Tuesday.